Nice. We're still getting it all set up, so I need a drink. I think you'll finally do the leg thing today. You can host anytime now, by the way. I'm out of danger. We're in chill moment now. What on earth just happened in there? Perfection. Perfect. Oh, I forgot to change the time. It's fine. That one worked. I don't mind that one being a little long. Perfect. Leonardo, I've managed to find out what happened. Oh yeah, someone set up like a bomb, like a pipe bomb or something, like a smoke bomb. I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. Smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. You would be the one to think ninja, my boy. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? And could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. He wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about. He's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions. Along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? What was she even doing here at the trial? She's taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. Hmm? Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. B, you write stuff down in this book as well to remember things? Like, does this book have anything you could think of is in this book, including information we just learned? According to the coachman, Mr. Bebo. Girl. He took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers. Which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right, that is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. Trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Well, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Suzato. Yes! You will. Doc! Hi! There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded, look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks. My lord. I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled the proceedings earlier. Oh, the final boss fights they get on that level, but harder. I can't struggle too much on the final boss fights, but the boss fights in this game really make you know your combos, and there's a lot of combos that I don't use normally that I had to use for the final boss fights. Yeah, I would start memorizing combos and being able to change between. Crane does pretty good for their fights. I normally don't do Crane for single fights, but Crane actually works really well. Just because it has a lot more combos for getting out of the way. Yeah. It's almost pretty good. I believe you have a... Oh yeah, we did that. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? Ah. Yeah, I mean... I think it was the only time, like, not that first fight. I don't think I used any healing items for that fight. But I think some of the other fights later in the game, just the final fights, I had to use a healing item. Yeah. I do like that they don't overly block, at least. Even for, like, being able to counteract you, at least they don't just block. Because I would have been irritated. It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape in the public gallery, but she was caught. And now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord. Oh wow, I went into Van Zeke's accent for no reason again. Yes, Mr. McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Oh, now the Irish works. Now it comes out of nowhere. Brain, what is wrong with you? Yeah. I really like Crane a lot. I was surprised because last game I never used Crane for one-on-one fights. But this game, like, Crane worked way better for one-on-one. Yeah, oh, they do. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place? And why she tried to bolt like that? It is all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGill, to give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Oh, I love the jumping. I love it. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Ranusky, I love your faces, boy. I love his faces. Ooh. I've also, this game, have you tried any wall jumps? I've done a couple, and they were actually much easier to do. Way easier to do. Like, you could still miss if they're not close enough. But it's not as finicky. Like, he actually aims towards the people. Like, even if they're too far, he'll still jump closer to them. Yeah, like, it's better. It's improved. I don't find it necessary because of his actual jumping, but it was much improved. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then Bagora, a loud thud and a wee scream, woke me up with a fair start. I do Irish for 2 seconds and then my brain wants to go Western. What is happening? There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. Mm-hmm. It's good. I'm gonna wait a couple months and then I'm gonna look up a video because people always they did this for Judgment. They made a video of every single one of his heat moves. And I'm waiting for Lost Judgment to do that because I know I didn't see all of them. Especially since I mostly did Crane. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. From what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah, I've seen a bunch. I just know I haven't seen them all. I do wish they'd given... I know that Kaito isn't in it that much, but I do wish they'd given you more new moves with him, because it's still the same ones. It's good. It's good. His, like, one is my favorite. I know! In the same spot as last time! It's the same spot. Earlier in the game, Yagami gets hit in the head in the same spot. And then Kaito gets stabbed in the same spot! Like, it's Kiryu all over again. Kiryu got stabbed in the same spot like 5 times. Yeah, they are still amazing. I like these moves with Kaito. I just kind of wish there was more. I also wish, like, towards the end of the, like, you know, with other companions, you'd get moves too. But I guess that's a lot of coding. It's exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the 5th passenger, my lord. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. You never look actually sure of yourself. Or rather, no. Good, okay, you're honest. I have no idea where to start. Man. I liked him. I still like the first tier the best, to me. Mostly because it's very much like his actual fighting. Promptly nodded off. Tell me about this nodding off. When you first got on the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were. I see. Yeah. I think I only did one of the 3rd tier. Aye, that's why I took the back seat I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. You explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, 'tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable, where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Hold it! A loud thud, you say, and a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. You think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. When the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage, but the fella on the floor. You didn't see anyone. But at the same moment, you did hear a scream. From the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. Hold it! You sat him up? The victim, you mean? Touch the stabbed bodies, guys, come on. That I did, on the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. So how did you touch him? This is why you look guilty. You touched it. Don't touch dead bodies. Rude. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor, now would you? His common courtesy, so it is. The face. What is this? What are we doing? Why? I find that a little hard to believe. Ara, Lord Ara? Ra? Now why would that be? You wake to find the man lying dead at your feet in the carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, for all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just gonna leave the man there? Oh yeah? Heavens alive, no. I was always intended to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. Oh! Yeah, see, I do. Yeah, I pretty much stick with one, but I did that. I've done that in every game. It's like I'll use bits and pieces here, but for the most part, I stick with one. Like, Judgment and Lost Judgment, it's Crane. 0, it was mostly Mad Dog. As soon as I unlocked Mad Dog for Majima, I never touched anything fucking else. And Kiryu, I think I just used his basic one. I like to stick to one stance. Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Hold it! You're fine. Gotta hold your convictions. I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'twas a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. You could have just said under the seat. Why did you put it that way? Good gracious. Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Mr. Nardo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted evidence. We already did look, and you got... I looked earlier, and you were like, no one could fit under here. Stupid son of a bitch. Damn. I looked there earlier, and they were like, nothing here, people can't fit under here. I'm gonna lose my mind, game. I looked at this already. It wasn't empty earlier, video game. It wasn't empty earlier. Can we point that out? I don't know. Why do you have a bad feeling? Share with the class. Because the class has a headache and feels dumb. Share with the class. Okay. When I found her. Hold it! Aye, that's right. Hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. This game likes color theory. A lot. That's a personal joke from Tumblr. I'm really overacting this. Still, all in all, pulled her up from under there. And sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wag with her. Seat opposite? That's right, just next to the dead gentleman. child hiding under the seat. Let's set her next to a dead body. It's fine. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir. Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. Whilst I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fellow's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with a knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason? Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage, out of sight. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl. Okay, if you say so, game. I don't agree. Look at the fucking hat on his head. How would you mistake anyone? With the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you. I've had enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is this girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. A Lestrade? Here we go. More Sherlock stuff. It's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. It's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl? A petty thief. A well-dressed one. Is this true, Miss Lestrade? This girl doesn't want to talk. Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. What the fuck? You putting her in the fucking stand? How dare you? What is the meaning of this? And there she goes. Bye. Yeet. She gone. The girl, she's gone. Oh, no, she didn't leave. I'm over here. Good gracious, how? What was the point in that little side step? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught in the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. On, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not Jeez. It's for her to do this. And a steamboat. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah. This was in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the four-wheel drags. Did you take that from Sherlock Holmes? I have only he has weird stuff like this, okay? It's nice, isn't it? I like pink vest. The pink vest. I'm gonna wave that thing in my direction again. Oh. He's got a drink. Me too. Well, here, I'll join you. I'll have something. It's not alcohol, but I'll join you in drinking. Either way. So, you admit that you were riding in the omnibus on the night in question. It's alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to. I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, like always. Accent. It was right all waste of time. I've got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I hear this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin, I did. And a screaming just came out. Because of that, the swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. Yes, he let you go. I don't understand why you would let the street urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oof. Oh, it's to simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact, because he was on the seat. Because he was sitting on the seat, you guys. She's not gonna be able to sneak out, kill a guy, get back onto the seat he's sitting on. Ryunosuke, why are you even asking how? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I was sat that night. And the cubbyhole of which you've spoken, underneath this seat, I presume. Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of this girl's stature. Why, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there. Because I parked myself on the seat for the duration. So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your actions result in your own innocence being called into question? Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. Why is he doing this? Why? I thought it was worth taking a punt on my good name for the sake of a less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. Oh, it's this... I know you're the guilty party. You cannot fool my brain. This is a fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this, okay? I'm... Oh, ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. One revs clearly at the truth every time. Oh! That should be all 6. So this is over, right? Unless fucking Van Zeke's pulls some bullshit. Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty. So Naruto, this, well, it must mean... It must mean what? We won! That we're victorious! We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Iron Hill! I love this man! He's so ridiculous! Put his leg up on the table. You have got some amazing balance, by the way. I could not just sit there and hold my leg up at my waist. If the sight of my Iron Hill Wellington offends, pray, do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day. Emotion? The witness's latest statement gives us clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Of course. Oh my god, the pun on that. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It was when we searched earlier. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good lord. The evidence has been tampered with in order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story. Someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. Anybody? Susanna's just staring at us. How could such a devious contrivance probably have been affected, Counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. I cannot do it in the accent. It's just my heart on a silver platter. Oh my god! All I have to say is about Van Zeeks is he could step on me anytime. That's my contribution. You shouldn't can't talk today, guys. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend? Me? And the carriage was submitted as evidence. Doubtless you examined it in fine detail as with any self-respecting practitioner of the law. We did. I do get it! Yeah, I got it the first time! Pray, what did you find the condition of the under-seats compartment to be? Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead, you tell the court now, fella. Now this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks. But I can't. Not gonna lie. Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? He was correct. He was correct. Van Zeeks was absolutely 100% correct. How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? It wasn't empty. The truth. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense. But you shouldn't lie to win a case, either. And as far as I remember, at least. When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes. Are you sure, counsel? Ah, bewitched. You thought I was gonna lie for you? No. I'll fight Van Zeeks for the fun of it, but I ain't gonna make him out to be a liar when he's not. What are you saying now, you daft doll? I thought you were on my side here. I am on the side of truth. You shocked? That I didn't lie? We shocked, boy? What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Or would you say something to compromise his position? Because it's the truth. It's perjury if the defense lies as well. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. You impressed yet? Interesting. Man's about to fucking lose it. Is not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad, but not by lying! fellow's memory is a curious thing, and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. You think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken? Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? Not. I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times, so it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Depot isn't that irresponsible, just a bit irresponsible. That money-lending fleecer and the pig purse are lying. I can't believe I was nearly taken in. Stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? Oh no. I mean... Truth's the truth. So, I must concur here. Oh, lady, you're only going with what everyone else is saying. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. Before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. I mean, it's partially our fault too for agreeing with him, but the truth.
Hold it!
So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending Joey to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, innit? I suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief. Finally refrain from tenants. That does clear up a little mystery of the fares and all. Or paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making it 20, to which the cabman testified. And one little race. I keep wanting to say scapegoat, but that's not the word right now. The red conch of a driver always goes for some grub before its last run, see? So that's when I slipped into the carriage and got myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment. Full of equipment for the coach, no? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in the corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Hold on. How come I don't get that report, bitch? I didn't get that report. How come I don't get that report? You are holding back on me, Benzies. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue.
Hold it!
A waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own in the God permit. At least some of the time. I beg your pardon? Did you say God permit? Oh yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. That's when you come out of your hiding place and get away? That's it. Only that night. Toad was sat on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. You mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You went to the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin. Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure, to be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child, now do you? You want me to hold it so you don't lose it? Okay. Oh. You're very cute. This Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then.
Hold it!
You couldn't see out the cabin at all. Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. Then I can have a butcher's at home gonna fiddle? What for terms? I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. Feet I got under ain't as plush as the other ones, see? But most of the time, the passages put themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the entire journey right over my head. And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Right? Well, how did she phrase that? To get a butcher. Is that really how you say to take a look? That's one of the ones I haven't heard. No, she said to take a butcher. Instead of take a look. She said it. No, she said it. Truth is, I ain't too happy in some small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's obvious choice. Obson's choice. God, jeez. Do you mean obviously? Doesn't she just took the people's pockets in the open then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging her demeanor. Anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there. Nothing else for it. Wait. How did you hear a loud bang? He was stabbed.
Hold it!
He misspoke it. Did you say a loud bang? Do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. Did you let out a scream involuntarily? That's right. And then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? But the bang was heard first, Fenzeeks! Are you listening to yourself? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I'll get through a few more. We'll get through at least 3 more games that are spooky. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? I hate that. What is? Had a quick butcher's. Why? Why is this a thing? Is this actually a thing? This has got to be old English. Or this has got to be fucking. I know Scottish people have weird terms. I can't actually tell what her accent is. Oh, I wasn't even counting Village, no. RE2, Resident Evil 4, and House of Ashes. I wasn't even counting Village. Oh my god. Okay, it is English slang. It originates from Booker's hook, which rhymes with have a look. It doesn't count, not right now. It's a rhyming... Oh, it's also kind of, it's Cockney. She's Cockney. Okay, this girl's she's Cockney. That explains the fucking weird-ass fucking phrases! I pushed up the Cockney. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? Welcome back, Ash. The Irishman was sitting up on the bloodwort and falling on the floor on the opposite. That matches Mr. McGilden's account, of course. But then, the fellow suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilda discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place? Yeah! I was trying to figure out, it's just more the fact that saying having a butcher's means having a look is throwing me off. Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a few different dialects, but Cockney is one that I'm pretty familiar with. I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason? Yeah, the bloke and a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling onto me. Ugh, how awful. Both me and God, Jesus. Cockney's really hard when it's not hard to talk Cockney, but it's hard to read. It's hard to read the way they did the accents. Yeah. Both my hands got... Yeah. They don't actually not say the H. They do say the H. Both my hands got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog. It's just faster than the way we say H's. Both her hands covered in blood? That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked to Mr. McGilda for a while, is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know my name and what I was up to and all that. Then I heard something from above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one seeing my face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smaltish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back onto the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury have decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. Clearly they are all very Reading. It's clear that they're all still very unsure. We just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony. I'm sure we can clinch the verdict we want. Yeah. Her name is Gina Lestrade. Which means she's not a bad person. The Lestrade. Lestrades are sometimes a little misunderstood, though. So we've already read that one. don't know. Alrighty. Maybe I'd just call her out on the fact that it wasn't empty before?
Objection!
Get me, you say. I look at you, Counsel. I see your trembling hand. Your expression prospering brow. Seems to me that is the telling inconsistency here with the misplaced confidence of your assertion. You don't know. That's so rude to me when I mess up. I guess I should save. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know. I know, but I don't know what I'm looking for. Press again. I'm pressing the button. Can you please?
Hold it!
I don't think that was possible at this point. But I could always look. Chuck it in a corner. Corner chucking. I don't get what I'm supposed to be doing for this one. The gloves could be hers.
Hold it!
I'm just trying to get it to move faster and it just skips.
Hold it! Well,
Oh, there we go.
Excuse me.
You didn't do that last time. Something wrong, Mr. McGilded. Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. Just nothing important. It's feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad shut up in the dark. It was terrifying, so it was. I see, yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. Still scared of the dark now. Oh, rude escape. Oh, and I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe. Lestrade? Did you hear something that night? Anything. Any unusual noise, perhaps? No, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Only to tell the whole world of me. Foibles, you little scamp. What a pity. Only Miss Lestrade heard something. It might have given us vital clue. Yes. What should we make of that last statement of hers? My lord, I believe that statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. I don't know why. But all she said, that she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern Mind, Counsel, nevertheless. Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please. What? Supplement? What about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do, but it won't work on me. That's right, consult the judge. It's always a good move. She's 15, she can get away with it, I'm sure.
Hold it!
You were straining to hear what was happening the entire time? Since the moment you hid yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry? Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw this swell getting on, I got my head down so he didn't notice me. And Mr. McGilded sat on the seat? On the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah. Would you What a mug. Would you Adam and Eve it? Oh, these phrases. She's so cute, though. So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, you see. But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. What's wrong with you? Should I be wondering? You're making a reaction. I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs in the market, snoring like an old dog he was. Well, he couldn't have done it if he was snoring the whole time, right? Well, that all seems to make sense. Took your time reaching that conclusion, Counsel. Benzies. Oh, Benzies, why are you laughing at me? Oh god. I don't like it. I'm feeling really stupid today with this part of the case, okay? Don't laugh at me. Very well then, continue with the cross-examination. Okay, I want to do this one more time just to see if he makes a reaction. Look at this man, is this not a reaction? What are you doing?
Excuse me.
Let me ask you something, Mr. McGilded. Oh? And what would that be, fella? Do you have something to say about that last statement? No, not really. I'm altogether happy with what's been said. Kind of you to ask, still all in all. Here, have yourself a tip. You think I was asking after his general well-being?
Hold it!
When you say loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Shake your head at me.
Hold it!
Could the gloves be hers? Yeah, I wish you would be more sure of what's bothering you, because I don't know what's bothering you. I think it has to be something with this, but I don't know. Maybe it doesn't add up. Mr. Straw, what you just told the court? Clearly at odds with the facts. Oh god, maybe that's what I was supposed to pick. At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. I'm not. Seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. Oh, that's why you were laughing at me last time. Okay, you're rude. You're rude. Sleepwalk. Excuse me. The Benzeeks realized it too. What did we realize? I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, we heard nothing but the sound of Miss Nimmergilda's snoring. But think, Renosuke, think. Thinking! There's something else she should have heard. She should have heard the man scream, but I get... I can't think. Alright, I guess he should have heard him get in, right? I like how they said she was 15. But then this says she's 17. Can you make up your mind for me? I mean, I want to say maybe she should have heard the victim. Leave myself because I'm so dumb to. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what happened, because they said she was, I guess they assumed she was 15, but I guess the court stuff actually gives her actual age. Very well, my lord, allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The victim, right? You would have to hear the victim. Oh, I don't know.
Take that!
Go for it, buddy! Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear. That of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Okay, so I was right. Yeah, but oh, Jesus. To be fair, I did not sleep last night because of the fucking wind. So, my brain is not running on full anything right now. It's not even running on caffeine because I've been drinking everything caffeine-free. Miss Estrada, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus, is that correct? It's supposed to go for a whole week. So, let's sleep. Who needs it? Not me. Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilden. That it was. Not a soul in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? The crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. From what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey, during which time did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? No, I never heard it. It's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't I? Waiting for this swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Does it open at the top? Wait. Because she said she heard a thud. And he would have woken up to the thud. So someone could have dropped it in from above. Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Unless she's lying. I don't assume she's lying, though. Yes, his petty thief statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zieks. Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. Oh god, he's laughing. I like his sprite, though, for the laughing. It's cute. Oh, the laughing, though. It would seem words of thanks are in order from my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. Oh no. She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars. Neither can I, oh dear lord. I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. I must say, I cannot abide liars. Aren't you literally a liar? Leonardo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. With the considerable troubles you have spared me. You're gonna drink it this time? Awesome. Yes, very refreshing. Easted Amandam? I don't want to know what that means. It's probably rude. Carnage. It's perfect. Hero number 2 is the only one left. Bernardo, the way this is going. I know. We can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGillicud's innocence. The judge will rule and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen. But those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Oh no.
Hold it!
Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth. It may shed an entirely new light on the whole case. What are you saying? I'm sorry, sir? Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prolong my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, I don't know why I can't say words in an accent. No one else to say, oh, there too. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? Dropped from the top! Does the skylight open? There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. Obviously, the victim must have been placed in the carriage after he was killed.
Objection!
Oh, don't tell me, my learned friend, what was the function of that obviously? To me. I'm 0% sleep, okay? Leave me alone. I assume that's right. Well said, Lord Van Zeeks. The obviously is troubling me also. No. That's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been moved into the carriage afterwards. Then answer me this. How could the cadaver have been placed inside a moving carriage? Dropped from the skylight? Does it open is the answer I need! Come on, Runusuke. Well, obviously. I shall have to penalize the defense heavily for this irrelevant rambling. Oh, I wasn't correct? Must learn to rabble more rapidly. The penalty is evidently not heavy enough judging from those Nipponiese eyes, so I ask you again. This petty, these words are too... Need to remember to save before I make choices. She said she didn't see him, though. Not. The door wasn't opened, even once. The only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. Isn't that the same thing as literally what I said about the skylight? Both of those options could actually have led to the same thing, video game.
Objection!
Oh God. Am I wrong again? Oh. I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. Here, behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Call me out on this. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with the door. The other has only windows. The skylight! Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection!
Come on, this be the one? But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. Skylight. I wish you proposed the victim entered the cabin. Okay, so literally, my other response would have worked for this too, because he would have ended up in the cabin after he was dead. Either way, so now you're just being finicky, video game! Skylight. I wanna...
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I say, the skylight?
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However,
Objection!
just interrupt him. The skylight wing will be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
Jesus fucking Christ, you two. So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your adult brain theory? Both Mr. McGilvin and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat, having been assaulted with the dagger. He wouldn't have made a thud, though! Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise that the witnesses described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry? In fact... Good gracious! Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You are now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. Simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony, because they're lying? Have you ever heard of people lying? Well, yes, that's true, but... Might a humble fella make a wee comment here? Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. It's a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas... You'd be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Surely not. Those two chaps on the roof? Fuck, he typed so fucking fast. You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were... Then Zeke's pose. What exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? You rotter, he said you... Ooh, I can't with this. That flame outrage. A good one to give you a blinker in a minute. I'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Your fair play. Effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker, and of that angry to suggesting that someone like me would have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's He's doing thing now. I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right, I protest too, about you, you rotten scoundrel. Oh, no, what's that? despite this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. Oh, it's outrageous! It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment... Go ahead, Lord Banzeeks. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You want to see my English tongue, good sir? I will show you my English tongue. Two choices with that. You proposed to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. Intimidated. He wants to see my English tongue. Show him my English tongue. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. I know I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify! Then we'll talk. There was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. There's filth and rubbish in our midst. We must dispose of it at once. What's happening, Mr. Naruto? I don't know. The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord. You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony. In reference to the indictment brought up by the defense. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. Why is you laughing? No time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. The only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear to that. If anything happened while we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The belly was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. You're so sure the victim fell through the skylight. Where's your proof? Can I look at the skylight now? I must say that on listening to this testimony is somewhat hard to imagine. Either witness could have performed any malevolent act on the rooftop deck, without the other noticing forthwith. Ew. Right, you see? You're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down to if the two of you were in collusion with one another. Could be. Yeah. According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses shared no common dealings. Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. That is going in our favor, really. But why do I feel so uneasy? I don't know. You felt uneasy for the last 30 minutes. Yeah. Oh, you really get my favorite part of music was the final boss music. The best. From him being picked up. We still haven't found who the gloves belong to. Trying to see if there's a way to open it. Yeah. I did enjoy Snake. I just didn't feel like it was as useful sometimes. Like, I'm a big fan of what he does with it. But Crane still is pretty good for, like, groups and stuff. It can't be opened from the inside. No, it can't be opened from the inside. There's a thing! But look at it, you fuck! Is it not gonna let me look at it yet? There is a latch! There is a latch on the thing. You can open it. Yeah, I like that. That's my favorite thing. So you can open it. Hold on. I want to see if this says anything, because it has one of their names listed. Yeah, Crane's pretty good. Okay, so that didn't tell me anything, okay. I'm assuming I'm gonna get a chance to talk about the latch. So no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck. Absolutely not, Dickon. No question about it, he said, not at all. But yes, of course, I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the closed cabin talking with this man here. It's true, Mr. McGilden. Dear me, my lord, at the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately. Yeah. Yeah. I like that too. Don't you do it. Think about your choices. That's an outright lie. No doubt you were engaged in. Let me stop you there, fella, and ask. Do you have any evidence at all? At all. Ah. It's all about evidence in the courts these days, so it is. You do well to remember that. I saw you with my own eyes. It's going so well.
Hold it!
Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Isn't it kind of lock? Let's resist this man. Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly? Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bitter cold. If you did, mind you, your eyelids would freeze shut and you'd never open them again. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you, and we had to put up with it because this man unlocked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. The lie, I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. Now. 'Twas a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. 'Tis hardly surprising. Seeing things. I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point. I take it personally now, lad. I'm a suspect in this case, and it's only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really.
Hold it!
had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before. Oh, mummy, no. Not once, never. Never met the man before, he said. Never. And you, Mr. First? Had no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir. Hackers don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. No, I imagine not. See? How many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the remotest connection to the gentleman inside the cabin.
Excuse me.
Mr. McGilded? Yes, counsel. What can I be doing for you? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now, I wonder? What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay, it has been too long, so it has. Eh? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date? Beg your pardon? Borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. At a very unconscionable rate of interest, you tricked me. It's extortion. Well now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fella to pass his crimes off on another? And young first. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That top hat sliding about your head, is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, it is a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like to tell you, they like a distinctive touch. Customers. Such as Thrice-Fired Mason? He has the same hat. Oh, ah, this you mean. He's doing all the work for me. Why did you hire me as a lawyer again? You could be doing this all yourself. Can't help thinking the poor fellow's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh. That's one of my hats. Aye, that it is. So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. That sort of customer, I'd wager, you could have had a wee quarrel with over distinctiveness of the goods. No, sir, absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It can be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case. You little weasel. He's better at this than I am. Don't admit that to yourself, please. Please don't say it out loud. Gosh, Mr. McGillett has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? Please, don't let me, little interruption, hold up the proceedings. Hat hunter. Oh, okay. Okay, so I don't know what that even opened.
Hold it!
Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time? I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute. He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That didn't clarify anything. I know you mean temper. But Jesus. Look for yourself. Go on. You see? It's shut fast now, just like it was on the night. So it is, of course. A fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it still and all. What? Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand? Hey, hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. On its own, let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Every 5 seconds! Stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind loudly. Shocked myself with it as it happens. What does this have to do with anything? This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just meant to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. Much as red as rouge I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh, no, sir. The point is, skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin of shame, but you can open it from the top! From the top! Oh no, go back! Someone freaked out! Nobody mentioned anything about kicking anyone. No, wait, but someone freaked out! I missed something.
Hold it!
I missed it, but I saw it at the last minute. I have no idea.
Wait, that ain't... Excuse me!
Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade! It opens. Hmm? The skylight. That is what we're talking about, right? Oh god, not again. Not again. Not again. All them skylights open. Dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon. It's adorable. That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, You can't do it from the inside, you mug. Oh! Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out me ears. Lestrade, this is not the forum to be eulogising on the subject of your criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't hop off the bus and leg it. What I did was I used the skylight, opened the catch, and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from in the cabin. Skylight opens from the roof deck? I told you this like 20 minutes ago, buddy. Come on. You alright? Climb up on the roof of the omnibus at once and verify the witness's claims. Little switch right here. Oh. Put the gun away. So it appears that this street ghost statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The skylight opens. And from the roof deck, I told you this. Do something. Mr. Nardo. This could be the clue we've been looking for. Told you this 20 minutes ago. Yes, my lord. Skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. You said you wanted proof. I have proof. Yeah, I mean, hers is just a smoke bomb gun.
Objection!
It reveals a damning inconsistency, that last statement. Damning, you say? Oh god. What? When am I going to present the evidence? I hate this sometimes. They don't make it very clear when you're allowed to present the evidence. Reload this. Oh, that was a really long time ago. Autosave sucks.
Hold it!
Proof. That's right, I demand to hear it. I came to say what we saw and tell you not for this. But you can call us both sideshows, brand us as criminals. You call us liars, that's what it means, accuse us of doing it. It stands at the moment. There's no hard evidence that incriminates yourselves, now is there? We were much the same position as one another here. If I don't crack this case soon, he'll crack his teeth. I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that could truly determine the outcome of a trial. Evidence. Can I look from the bottom? Maybe it wants me to look from the bottom of the floor. I'm so... Hopefully it kept it open from the last time I was here. Blood! Why someone like me? Look, just here, look at this. That's without question. It's blood. Wait, which explains the blood dripping onto the floor. Which explains this blood. Dripped from up here. Okay, but the question is where to present this evidence. I'm doing really bad in this case.
Objection!
On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. That's utter humbug. You can't possibly have any evidence. You can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. Irrefutable proof? Here, in this courtroom. Van Zeeks has been awfully quiet for a while. My lord? I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? Point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight.
Got it!
Jupiter! Is that blood? This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows, Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, can't possibly be guilty of this crime.
Hold it!
But the blood could have sprayed up when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. That's not how blood works. And it would not look like that. And only found its way to that one particular spot on the skylight? Sure, and that would be very convenient. And let's keep it in mind, the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But. There's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? It's all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fellow dropped from a fair height, right there, so it is. What? No. But, can't be. It's all... eyes.
Hold it!
So jury members, I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we? I believe we can, yes sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it. Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful pot couldn't have done such a thing. On 3 then, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Oh,
Objection!
Jesus. Benzeeks. A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, and what would you be referring to then now, Lord Benzeeks? A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight? Such evidence is null and void. Excuse me? What? Where do you get that conclusion from? What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
What are you talking about? There for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began. But, are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that the stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes, and while this court has been in session. Zeeks is so tall. What a palaver. I must say I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capitals for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I'm well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. Alright, eating popcorn. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? Drinking. When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. It goes to your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. That, Lord Van Zeeks, will not do, to be sure. What now, Council? Oh, no! I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say. But, if you will cast all your minds back, it is not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time. How could anyone possibly have put the smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, Counsel? No, not when she did the smoke bomb. No, my learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. As you wish, could someone have tampered with it? You're asking me, I think. It could have been possible. It could have been possible. Because I don't remember seeing that blood there when I looked at it the first time. Not just the skylight, but the floor blood. And it's brighter red than the blood on the cushions. And she did set off a bomb earlier, which cleared the courtroom. So it was not in view of everyone. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best as I can. But still, it feels that there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. Oh, he's using the insults back at him! Look at you, Ryunosuke. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Blame yourself, Counsel. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. My boyfriend's right, he's right, and you have to just agree with him. Worked out once in my favor. Hopefully it works out again. Deceit. I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly. The recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. What? What are you trying to pull, you rotten feckless gouger? Feckless gouger? You're supposed to be defending me. 'Tis a wicked plot. 'Tis a wicked plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier, as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies such as... To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I have said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Fortunately, Lord Van Zeeks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. The omnibus was first rolled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight was shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say, we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord, no doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? The blood on the floor? A little odd. My lord. Yes, counsel? There is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. You dare betray me, you little maggot. You'd better start watching your back.
Objection!
Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. Oh, look at this boy. He's like, don't threaten him. I'll fuck you up. Me either, boy. What am I supposed to believe here? I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. Okay, it's definitely gotta be the blood, but just in case it's not, I'm gonna fucking save. It should be. Should be this bright blood. Because he didn't make any mention of it. Even he said earlier, it's so obvious that's all, but Van Zeek's never said anything.
Got it!
If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, we would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. As far as I recall, bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom. Good lord! Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. You have popcorn? So far, we're helping him prove the guy's guilty, and I don't know how I feel about this. Like, we're on Van Zeek's side when we're supposed to be the defense. Well sealed. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that it was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether the evidence is genuine, or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone... I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Yeah, the wind is... ugh. Oh yeah, the leg one? I forgot we changed the title. The trial is over. Am I gilded? I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but... it's all over now. But you're the defendant. It's over, I tell you. Okay? Jesus, what's happening? Memory, recollection, what people think they saw. It's all nonsense. Facts are what counts. And the fact is, that bloodstain is there, now. Ah, well... and over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Zeek's. Well, my lord? I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence, and in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I forget to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Zeeks, what is your position? Prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, I believe we've explored every possible avenue in this matter. I shall proceed to my adjudication. As a formality, I am, of course, obliged to confirm with the defense first. Things stand at the moment, it would seem Mr. McGilder will be found not guilty. Yes, which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now, with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Counsel for the defense. Your closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. Defense believes would be guilty. Just stand with my boy Van Zeeks, okay? I am here in this courtroom today as advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilder. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence. What are you saying, man? Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. Good gracious me! This is the unprecedented behavior, counsel. The defense lawyer calling the accused's innocence into question. Are you of sound mind? Oh god, this man is gonna lose it. What is happening? Oh, it was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was a grand decision. What? I must say, I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. At this point in troubles, what's happening? The job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so you have. What do you mean? It's just as the right honorable gentleman so suchly put it before. Trial can't go on anymore. Your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality. Don't either. His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. Wait a second. Okay. Fast typing. Yeah, I was sir. I have to stand with Van Zeeks. Stinkerich are always guilty of something. Mark my words. I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely part. I'm sorry, did you see his evil laughter, lady? Now the proceedings have unfolded in this way, I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. Thank you kindly, my lord. Hereby, announce the verdict of this court.
Objection!
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Lord Van Zeeks? My lord. The case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. Our sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection!
But wait. When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zeeks ordered the evidence to be secured. Look at us standing up for my friend! Oh my gosh! I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter. It's not! He took responsibility! That's so unfair for Inosuke. Yes, honey? What's she doing? Be right back. That's what it is. And then I'll get the Swiss church, okay? Okay. Hoppin', kiddo. I'm holding still. The culpability of the defendant has not at present been established by this court. Oh, okay. Consequently, the jury will not be required to offer judgment. What? Well, Lord Van Zeeks, it's been a pleasure. So it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. You mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time? It's the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Magnus McGilded. Good grief. You've more to say to me, have you? Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over. That's something to be looking forward to, then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, not guilty. I don't like it. I'm trying to help you hold it still. Courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict, and my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end. The defendant being found not guilty, ostensibly a victory for us. Hey, Paul. Be careful. Okay. That certainly was a long trial. Ah, yes it was. Your first ever trial on foreign soil, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you too, Miss Susato. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. We didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Don't talk to me right now. Gina can talk to me, you cannot. Mr. McGilded. Ah, and that girl is with him too. Pretty sure that girl's just being used. It seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? Well, the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. You must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. I'd heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. What have you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it? Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything. What are you saying, fella? How'd I walk out of there a free man, then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. Yet you're young and headstrong, and has returned to the bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilton, on having your name cleared. Nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? Aye. They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and abominable deed. Grand, is it not? Suppose it is. And the fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. See it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. Absolute faith in them, so I. After all, they do be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. Like you. It's not that funny. So then. We agreed aforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. Well, if you insist. But have this. Still in all, you deserve a reward. Oh? Everything is ready, sir, if you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Courtroom? What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe. Hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? I'm going to be examining the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. You're going to examine it again? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help where I can. It is a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you. Hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. There he goes. Free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Oh no. Oh no, Gina. Please don't. Don't move. As I want to say, get a move on, she really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry? I hate all grown-ups. You are? Naughty. Running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? It's with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh my god, she's got a bigger one. Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. You're related to Sholmes, aren't you? I have no fucking doubt about it. You related to Sholmes. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. Well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. Inventor? Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, white, and more white. If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. You have to be shrouded in smoke, though? I just took my eyes off it for a moment while I was changing into a different omnibus, and she pitched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. Oh, what's it? What? I have no idea what this girl's talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now, back to my laboratory. What? What for? Apologize, of course, silly. To my technician. What? You mean, say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. You want to get shot with the bigger gun? Fine, have it your way. Oh good, you see? I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. Fairly sure what she wants to do is not get shot by that massive gun of yours. We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye! I'm so sorry for all the fuss. She was a lively one. Well, I think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right. But where to? Oh! We haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner have we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All of our traveling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend a day in search of lodgings. This late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. If the worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. No. Please tell me you're not thinking of a gilded park. I know it may be a little chilly this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable. Oh god, she's gonna cry. You're gonna make her cry, Renusuke! Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. The 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room or mansion. So, trial to determine my worthiness. The study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead, just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned. Yeah. And they're from Japan. Like, Japan doesn't get as cold.
What's going on? Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water, quick! What the? How did this happen?
I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating. No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there. This can't be.
Yeah, that's one way. Oh my god. He's really sexy in cutscenes. What the hell? He's really attractive in cutscenes. He's a vampire. I can start this one. I'll start it. How to Kokoro.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back. Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
Yes, at least for 20 more minutes. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruto? No, not at all. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious, I felt like we were staying in a palace. With all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than day, even in the middle of the night. What about the enormous beds? After my time on the SS Burrow, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. I spent the entire night rolling from one mattress to the other. Oh yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except, when I learned that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Oops, sorry about that. The building was so impressive and the entrance was so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking. In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill. Wait, aren't you supposed to get the bill before you leave the next day? Oh god. Well, never mind. We must find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less. London is a scary place. This? Oh, you. This man. Oh, yes, we are, well... Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. You've come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday. Suzato-san is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even in the presence of the opposing Lord Strongheart. Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices. Oh, yes, it was very eye-opening. Thank you. And in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruto performed his duty to the end. Yes, I've already been apprised of events. Conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Oh. No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. That's all it took? My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land. Thank you very much. I'm a lawyer now. Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like you to take it on at once, and I trust that that won't be a problem. Another case, already? Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. I'm sure I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it. What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for? Mr. McGilder really was innocent. Mr. Naruto, it's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended. Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer. Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? Magnus McGilder passed away immediately following the trial. No! What? Mr. McGilded is... I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk. Okay, nothing new. I hate him. Is Lord Strongheart? I'm 100% certain he's a bad guy. 100% certain. I don't understand what happened. How can he be dead? After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. Yes, of course. That was the scene of the crime, which Mr. McGillen had been accused of. I think he's hot. I don't like his face, I don't know. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. No. How could such a thing have happened? It is being investigated as we speak, but already... Police have identified that the corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of Mr. McGilded. That's awful! The man must have slipped inside while the bailiff's attention was elsewhere. That bailiff really needs to pay more attention. And how could that have happened? That is also being investigated as we speak. Thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilda did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Yeah, he did! Mission of the omnibus. Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage. The bailiff the whole time. But who was Mr. McGilda talking about? Never mind that now. No! Because in the cutscene when it was on fire, the Scotland Yard guys said they were just planning to start investigating. So you're lying. Or you didn't know about it. Excuse me. I pay attention. Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police. Or Mr. McGilded. So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court? Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was... wow. Minuske. This order means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. Really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few decades old. Wow, Surizado-san has such a way with words, and you have zero way with words. And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones. Thoughts. The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can. Most advanced in the world, is it? It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair. Simple? That was simple? As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose. I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Is something funny? No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. That can only be attributed to exceptional talent, wouldn't you agree? Well, I don't know about that. Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much is at least an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I've prepared this new case for you that I mentioned before. Starting to not like him. Good. He's an asshole. Hang on. What was he going to say before? Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned? Don't tell me. It's a murder, and the trial starts in 10 minutes. Don't worry. It's nothing so alarming or quite as urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different. Oh, I see. Just read my mind. That is to say, no one has died, as yet. The trial will not be today. There is plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, 19 seconds to be precise. Ha, so the trial's tomorrow then. Everything alright? Oh, yes, I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was... well, it left me wondering if I'm really cut out to be a lawyer. Oh, Mr. Naruto. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. McGilpin's trial. Oh yes, I nearly forgot. There is one similarity with yesterday's case. Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh. The situation remains unchanged. The trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. Hold up. What? Yes. Major deja vu? Oh yeah? If that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome. Terrible end awaits the defendant. Yes, that's right. Oh. Here we go again. Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There was now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the courts. Last time he mentioned the 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time. And one more thing, Mr. Naruto. There was something I would like to ask you. Oh, and what's that? Yesterday you remarked upon something. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Osogi. Oh yeah? They might have. Just predict the future, it's okay. As long as the thick-ass joke is still made. I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds. Oh, well, Cosmo always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world works so he could change ours in Japan. Now that he's gone, I'd like to work towards that myself. And there's another thing. Oh. Another thing. Continue. On the way here, on the steamship, he said something to me. There's something very important that I have to do. Something very important. And what exactly would that be? He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done, if he'd ever made it to the Great Britain. You are out of time. Well, thank you for your enlightening discussion. You are an asshole! It could have happened. It could have happened in any of my streams. I'm sure there's plenty of thick-ass men in this stream. Naruto, what's all this about? Mr. Soki never once mentioned anything of the sort to me. I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to apprise you of the details. How long has he been there? So I wish you the best of luck, and bid you farewell. Something very important that I have to do. Sama. What did you mean? Which I knew, but honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we'd better talk to the detective, don't you think? Yes, you're right. Hope I'm just imagining it, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all. Can't have Is this man holding chips? I'm sorry. Are you holding chips? Please don't eat chips like that! Oh. Could we trouble you? What do you think? Lovely weather, isn't it? Okay. What's the weather got to do with anything? Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Some frippery about the weather doesn't get every English chunt eating out of your hand, you know. Madison told me it was foolproof. I hate it, make it stop! I'm a busy man, a very busy man. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here to give the likes of you a talking to. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying, Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's too busy with the bigwigs these days. Not because some bumpkin who's here on a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of. You've never heard of Japan? Anyone used to know about Japan but you. Being sound, that's my reputation at the yard going to tatters. No need to rip us apart as well. I don't believe we've been introduced. Here, this is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruto, a defense lawyer. Oh? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruto's judicial assistant, Sue. Lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? It is unseasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. As soon as the pretty lady starts talking. Unbelievable. How did she pull that off? She's pretty. So, well, Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. Gregson? Inspector Gregson? What's the matter with Suzato-san? Does this detective's name mean something to her? It should. I'm sure Sholmes has talked about him. Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson? The French fries keep replenishing themselves and I'm upset by it. You're acting like you know this man, Miss Suzato, but he's a London detective. Oh, I do know him very well, in fact. Very well? Yes, he features prominently in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Of course he does! Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Grants to Magazine? That's right, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible. Well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time. Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of all Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words. That's his highest praise? Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see. He is not, and thanks to that magazine, my name's known all over London town now. That's great, isn't it? I have to admit that, to start with, I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yard went through the roof. That's wonderful. No, it is not! There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. People are always looking at me now. They're whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumors? Are you quite sure? He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's gone to his head. Stuff like that. Gosh, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you? He calls you daft bastard. Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying, but I know what folk are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying. I'm sure that eggs is eggs. I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work. Oh dear. Perhaps the sudden rise to fame does change people. About the case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the Yard, it couldn't be simpler. Oh dear, that probably means... As far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated. Wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in hospital, unconscious. That's despicable! What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind? Can you figure out what it is? I suppose you would have finished whatever it was with a Suzato takedown, wouldn't you? But it's neither here nor there, Mr. Naruto. Brace yourself, Inosuke. You've angered her now. Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. He barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. So, there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit? Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question. Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry? There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Why ever not? Naruto? Naruto. Yeah, they do sound simpler, but Naruto. I say it a little bit more clearer. Simple. The prosecutor that's been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Beric Van Zieks. No! Oh, he says no! Sounds like you've heard of him then. Oh yes, we are very familiar with Lord Van Zieks. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself, Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Beric Von Zieks, who we faced in court only yesterday. Magilda told us about him before the trial, didn't he? Look at this. No. Except the last trial we won. I don't like the way we won, but we won. Reaper of the Bailey nickname. Suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty, is that it? Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zieks, Mr. Naruto secured a verdict of not guilty. Of course it is. What of it? Oh, well, I think that means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. No, you really don't have a clue, do you? What do you mean? Happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Ah! Magnus Magilda became a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. You can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you? What are you saying? Look, if Van Zieks could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles, he works magic. Black magic. I'm sorry? I'd have a good long think about that if I were you. Really supposed to believe that? Right, well, I filled you in as requested, and I'm very nearly out of chips. I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. You should have been out of chips ages ago. I was still carrying a few investigations there. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place? That's correct, ma'am. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. Branded him a criminal already? He's as good as, shaken like a leaf in his cell he is. I'll give you a chuckle, if nothing else. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way. Inmate 53. Thank you. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Nothing troubling you, Mr. Naruto? Tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in the court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage, too. But if the man they've arrested is innocent, I could well imagine he'd be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny. So, I'm honest. Still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. And I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try, so I think I'm gonna make some inquiries. Will you help? Do you really think you had to ask? After all, I am your judicial assistant. Thank you. So then, shall we? Yes. Let's go! The crime. Why don't we go to the prison first? More things shake than just leaves. And this is where we're gonna leave it. Metaphor game. Alrighty. We'll be back tomorrow with some Resident Evil and maybe some more of this. But bye, guys. Take care.